We want to add some information here that we've just been given. Apparently, a source is telling the Associated Press in that shooting this afternoon at Brown University that 2 people are dead and several others were wounded. Again, 2 dead, several wounded, according to a press source the Associated Press is speaking to. We are also told that the reports of a second shooting a few minutes ago on Governor Street are unfounded. So we're basically talking about that first shooting incident at about 4:30 this afternoon along Thayer Street, which runs through the Brown University campus and has a bunch of shops and eateries on it. Now, it was about 4:30 near the Barris and Holly Engineering Building. That's where the school was warning students to lock their doors and to silence their phones and stay hidden if they were anywhere near that area. It was definitely a shelter-in-place situation. Again, as of right now, the AP is saying that 2 people were shot dead and others were wounded. The university at first indicated a suspect was in custody. They are now saying that that is not the case, so the shelter-in-place continues. You want to keep in mind, this is the second day of final exams for the fall semester there at Brown, a school that has more than 10,000 students if you add up undergrad and graduate. Now, a witness spoke to our sister station, WPRI.
I was walking over here and I saw police cars just rushing by, like more and more coming, followed by like fire trucks. And then when I came here, they all stopped over there. And I just stood there asking people what was happening.
How many police trucks, fire trucks do you think you saw?
I don't know how many police cars. I think I saw like 4 like driving. And I saw then there was 2 fire trucks over there.
And what were they like? Did they look really concerned or really urgent?
Well, it was kind of hard to see with all the flashing lights. They seemed urgent. They were driving really fast.
And it just seemed like more and more were coming?
Yeah.
Wow. So what were you thinking at that point? Were you scared?
I was confused. I was like, what's happening? I was asking around, and then I heard active shooter. I was like, damn, what?
So when you hear active shooter, what do you do next?
I mean, the probably rational idea would be to run, but I just stood there because I want to know more.
You're just curious at this point?
Yeah.
And just as you hear some of the rumors going around, just what are your thoughts on just the whole situation?
I mean, I was hoping that everyone got out well. It was really shocking and it's confusing.
And then, again, she talks about panic and confusion. That was certainly shared by other students at Brown University as they were told to shelter in place at about 4:30 this afternoon. Sources now telling the Associated Press that 2 people were killed, several others were wounded. We don't know at this point if those folks were students or just people who were out walking along Thayer Street, which is where this gunfire initially erupted. Now, the university was quick to send out warnings via social media, also on their website. They put out notices for students to shelter in place. They were kind of ominous, as you might expect, telling folks to run if they were in the affected location, to hide if at all possible, and as a last resort to fight and take action to protect themselves. We are told that they are getting ready for a news conference of sorts there. I don't know if it's by the university or if it's by the Providence police or both, but as you look at this pictures, know that we're about to get some official information. We're now going on roughly 2 hours after the gunfire first erupted on Thayer Street there. Again, this was a quiet Saturday afternoon on the Brown University campus when these bulletins first started popping up that there were gunshots along Thayer Avenue, and social media was quick to carry various unconfirmed reports that people had been shot there. That prompted an enormous response. You can see some of it right here from first responders. The feds were quick to jump in. Right there, you can see somebody, I think, is on that ambulance, on that gurney being taken away. I guess it might just be gear that they're carrying in. So these are the pictures that we're getting from the scene there at Brown University. Again, it's the second day of exams for the fall semester. And students there, probably many of them were enjoying maybe an afternoon out before getting back into study mode for the evening. I'm told now that when this news conference begins, we're going to carry it live for you, as you might expect. Brown University now basically still in a lockdown. Students there have been told to shelter in place, to find a safe place, and to not come out. It has been somewhat of a confusing afternoon on campus because we were initially told by the university, again via social media, that a suspect was in custody. So that had some people feeling better briefly, but they changed that about 45 minutes after that initial post and indicated that a suspect was not in custody. So apparently the suspect or the gunman there is still on the loose. Now, what we don't know anything about here is the circumstances. We don't know if this was a shooting related to something going on at the school, a university event, outside a dorm, or just on the street there on Thayer Street, which has many, many businesses and is normally bustling with all sorts of students, especially on a weekend day, even if it is the second day of finals. So there was obviously a good deal of panic there at Brown, and now you can see it's just mobbed by law enforcement as they try to sort out the scene there. Our Logan Hall has been on the scene for about 20 or 30 minutes, and he is trying to get ready there and get in position to bring us a news conference, which we understand is going to be coming from authorities here fairly quickly. Again, the latest word on casualties that we're getting from the Associated Press is that 2 are dead and several are hurt. We are told that the reports of a second shooting near Governor Street was unfounded. It did not happen, apparently. So we're basically talking about an initial shooting event that was along Thayer Street in the neighborhood of 4:30 or so. Okay, so let me go back to the top of this. Right now, Brown University along Thayer Street, the whole university, you can see students there running. Law enforcement is swarming that area. They are trying to obviously hunt for anybody who may be wounded, but I think they're also trying to reach out to students to give them an update on the situation. And the situation, as we know it, is this: a gunman who opened fire near a engineering school, the Barris and Holly Engineering Building, which is a high-rise on campus. That gunman is apparently still at large. We understand that a couple of people are wounded. 2 is the number that we're getting from the Associated Press, and that several others are wounded. Again, we don't have any numbers there, nor do we have the extent of their injuries. Again, waiting for a news conference that hopefully will get some facts out of this, and everybody is looking for some confirmation that a gunman has been caught. We do not think that is the case at this point. Whatever studying was going on for finals has clearly been interrupted, and I would not at all be surprised. We don't have anything official, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if after an incident like this, they have second thoughts about continuing finals at the school. Again, when we get this news conference, we will bring it to you live here on CBS News Boston. Hopefully we're going to hear from Providence Police, from the university. I'm told right now from our control room that they can see an area where they are setting up microphones and getting ready for a news conference. There it is right there. So they're taping microphones to the stand there, getting ready to hear from school officials, and hopefully they'll be poking their heads out soon to give us some clarification on the shooting this afternoon at Brown University. Again, the first reports of gunfire coming in at 4:30 or so near the Barris and Holly Engineering Building. That's just off Thayer Road along the stretch of campus there. This isn't just campus buildings along Thayer Road. Again, there's a lot of clubs, eateries, that sort of thing. So it's a very popular area for students. We're hearing from the Associated Press. They are quoting sources as telling them that 2 people were killed when a gunman opened fire in that area, that several others were hurt. Again, we don't have a specific number. We'll hopefully get that from the press conference that you can see taking shape right there. However, the important thing is that we have no confirmation at this point that a gunman is in custody. We thought that earlier, that one was in custody. We're told later that that is not the case. So the gunman is apparently still at large. We don't have any reports on whether they were seen fleeing the area. They're believed to be hunkered down in that area. Police have obviously there now with their tactical units trying to ferret out. They're probably doing a building-by-building search in the area where the gunman was last seen, trying to pin down and make sure that various buildings are clear before they pass that word on to students. Chaotic, a frightening scene there. Again, that's just off Thayer Street there on the campus of Brown University. By now, all 10,000 plus students at Brown are well aware that this is not going to be an average Saturday night on campus. This will probably continue for quite some time there. The latest we have, 2 people shot and killed by the gunman, several others hurt. We don't have specific numbers on the wounded, nor do we have specifics on their injuries. And we are waiting on a police news conference that will hopefully come in. Okay, I've just been handed something here, and the confirmation by CBS News now that 2 are dead, and get ready for this figure, up to 20 have been hurt. Don't know how many of those folks have been shot. Don't know how many were hurt in the panic, trying to flee the gunman. My note indicates that some of the injuries indeed did happen while panicky students were trying to run away from the gunfire. Shortly after that, the stay-in-place order was issued by the university. They told folks to lock doors, to silence their phones, and to stay hidden until further notice. Telling them to run if you're in the infected location. I'm reading from their release now. Evacuate safely if you can. Hide if evacuation is not possible. Take cover. Fight as a last resort. Take action to protect yourself. So the situation there continues. Police are still swarming that scene. Again, the latest news now confirmed by CBS is that 2 people are dead and up to 20 are hurt. Some perhaps by gunfire, others perhaps when they were trying to flee the scene along Thayer Street where that gunfire apparently started. It was very near the Barris and Holly Engineering Building. If you're familiar with the campus, you know that that's a high-rise along there. That's where all their engineering, I think the physics department is also in that building. Students at the school in their second day of finals today, obviously interrupted by chaos and tragedy as we look at these pictures coming into us now. Much of this stuff was shot by our sister station, WPRI. They're in Providence, so we're obviously very quick to that scene. Yeah, right there along Thayer Avenue. So an active shooter at Brown, the active shooter situation at Brown University still continues. Police swarming that scene right now. Again, I know you're seeing the same video here more than once. We're just kind of rolling it out for you here so you can get an idea of the situation there.